What's going on, y'all? I'm Damien, a multiple sclerosis patient advocate, and I'm here with MS patient advocate extraordinaire, Cathy Chester. And we're going to be talking about MS advocacy and coronavirus. Because the Rona puts a spin on everything, especially advocacy. So we're going to get into all that stuff right now. So, Cathy, I have dubbed you MS Patient Advocate Extraordinaire, but I don't think that's a lofty title. I mean, you have advocated for how many different organizations over the years?
I don't really know. I never sat down and counted them all. 34 years is a lot of things.
you
So
you have been in the game for 34 years and being a patient advocate, right? Even before it was
correct,
a thing, you know.
correct.
So
Before internet.
before there was a time before the internet.
Yes, I'll tell you a story one day. It's my Goldilocks. It's no internet, no MS medications.
Oh man, but so you know a time before MS advocacy, and you also know a time with coronavirus.
Yes.
So how has all of these things gone together? Has the advocacy been affected by coronavirus? Like how have events been different or outreach shifted? How's all this been going?
Yeah, well, advocacy, of course, pre-internet was all magazines, newspapers, in-person meetings, things like that, different forums, support groups. And then once the advent of the internet came, even in its infancy, you had chat rooms, things like that. And it grew and grew and grew. And now it's like an explosion of ways to advocate, which is wonderful and surreal to me in a beautiful way.
Mm. Man, I'm a big time nerd myself, so I remember the chat rooms. Like I was there, pulling the internet down over the phone line. So I couldn't
Right.
imagine having MS and trying to connect with someone in a chat room, man.
Yeah, it was well, at the time we didn't know any different. So to us, to me anyway, it was
Right,
extraordinary.
right,
Oh, there's a person with MS. I never knew anyone who had
right.
MS before.
Mm,
And the literature wasn't too much around. My
mm,
local library, I lived in a small town, wasn't much to go on with them.
mm,
The big organizations that were around at that time were
mm.
the ones that really helped me through snail mail.
Okay. So
So they were really looking back, those chat rooms look pretty archaic now because they're the way that they started. But boy, they were really helpful. At the end of the day, you did meet a few people.
hmm hmm
And it's hard to explain to the younger advocates like yourself of the way that things were and how now, to
Mm,
me, all these platforms on social media
mm,
and all the technology that's available to us is extraordinary
mm.
in a way that we can inform wider audiences about everything they need to know about MS.
So, because coronavirus essentially shut everything down and nobody can go out in public anymore, it's just a whole different sort of scene and vibe. Has that shifted like MS advocacy, like the type of events, the type of events you do, or the type of outreach you do, or the type of connections you make? Has the coronavirus affected this connection in any way?
Well, you think about what I just said about not being able to reach people prior to the technology that we use now. So if we had coronavirus back then, people would not have been able to connect with each other. There would be no platform, no forums really to connect to each other. So with the advent of things like Zoom, which has exploded now, has allowed a lot of organizations and patient groups to reach each other and to carry on with the advocacy
Mm,
in a new and
mm,
an explosive way. It's extraordinary and it's a blessing. I'm very grateful to technology because I can help a wider array of people that are really looking for answers in the age of coronavirus. I mean, look, we're used to battling a disease. We are used to having difficult days, weeks, months, years. We struggle with whatever we struggle with, living with its unpredictable, incurable
Mm,
disease.
mm,
But now we're adding a whole new ball game
mm,
with the coronavirus,
mm.
and that's a scary thing. So yeah, advocacy has changed in that way that there's more to discuss. There are more fears being addressed. You look like you want to ask me a question about that.
No, no, no. It gets my brain going because
Yeah, sure.
there's, like you say, fears, and some people are like, depending on the DMT that I'm on, I am going to have a worse time if I get the coronavirus. Depending on my progression or my stage of the disease, like I'm going to have a bad time if I get the corona. And it's I sound like some out of touch person by calling it the corona, but the idea of having extra fear on top of your MS, unsettledness, but fear of catching corona or having a worse time with corona if you do get it. Man, that's something big, and then I would imagine that you hear about that a lot as you're out here working to bring people together. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Because we've never seen anything in our time to
Mm.
this extent. We've had other, Ebola and I'm trying to think of the other ones that we had in more recent years, but
Yeah,
nothing like
exactly.
the coronavirus. Nothing like
Exactly.
this. And it's ever changing. The information that we receive is changing because the virus is changing. So there's a lot of information to disseminate in a variety of ways. And the key is to use reliable websites, uh, platforms, and
Hmm.
all kinds of forums that are available now. And as patient advocates, we have to be informed to be
Mm,
able to give the
mm.
right information to the people that are really asking for it, which is basically everybody, including myself, because I want to
Absolutely.
know what like the CDC is saying or what the WHO is saying or what different science I believe in science, so what the science backed information is about, and also what the MS organizations are saying, because they're also on top of everything that we need to know, and they are always reliable place to turn to. They are definitely a safe place to fall. And so I see a lot more the fear is stepped up, anxiety, mental health is a big thing. Uh, so those issues that we already have lived with are increased.
Yeah,
And
no,
we really need to deal with that in an informed and a compassionate way.
yeah.
Always with compassion.
It's as if like we didn't have enough going on. Like, say you're trying to have a career and a life
Yeah.
and raise kids, whatever, and then you have MS. Oh, okay, great, cool. Now you have MS, and now there's the coronavirus, and now you're like, what is going on? So, like, since you are a hub for a lot of this information, have you just seen more people looking to outreach more, or looking to connect with people more, looking to foster this community so that they're not feeling like they're left out hanging to dry? Or like, how have you and your constituents been working to drum up a community in these times?
Yeah. Well, I have to backtrack here. Something I wanted to say is that we already know what it's like to stay home for longer amounts of time
Mm,
when our illness is giving us a hard time.
mm,
It's a taskmaster that we have to listen to when our
wow.
bodies are not respecting us. Along with that, we have to always be careful of germs. We have to stay away from people when they're sick.
Mm,
and we have to social distance because of that. So
Mm,
part of that we are already used to. Now add to that the coronavirus, and not everybody is adhering to what we should be doing, but we, the MS community,
mm,
we already know what we're supposed to be doing. And
mm.
so, but people still have the fears because not everybody is doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Wow. All right. So, do you? I think I know, but you're an advocate and a specialist too. So, do you know? Like, so if you have MS and the coronavirus is going around, will you have a worse time with it because you have MS?
Well, I mean, I'm not a medical person,
Correct.
but that said, um, people are the most common question being asked is, should I continue with my DMTs? Am I more at risk because of my DMTs? What do I do? People have stopped it, people have postponed it. But the research that has come out by several organizations and medical centers, MS centers, is that there are certain DMTs that make you more high at risk than others. And it's
Mhm.
important for the community to be in touch and know which one, if the one that they are on is making them high at risk. For instance, I'm on Ocrevus. I think you're on Ocrevus. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I'm really
I'm
not
on a big
sure.
O as well. Yep.
Okay. So, so I know that I was told by my neurologist that I hope I have it correct. That 8 weeks after I get my infusion, I am high risk, and after that, I am not as high risk. So I could go to the store if I want, the grocery store with my mask, of course, and all. But before that, I honestly haven't been to a store since the beginning of March because my husband does all the
Yeah.
grocery shopping,
Same. Pretty much same. My wife does the grocery
right?
shopping as well.
Because I don't know, I just don't want to take any risks. But for instance, Ocrevus, for that increment of time, it does put you higher at risk. So I'm told. That's
Right.
one of the medications. It's important to check in with the societies or your healthcare provider to find out if your specific medication makes you higher at risk.
Absolutely. And I think that's one thing that gets missed often because as information comes out, people say, well, that might work for them, but that's not going to work for me. Or, that this is the thing that's going around, but, how does this fit in for me? And it's like, yes, I get it. That's precisely what you should be thinking about, what's good for me. But yeah, it's horrible. However, it's not all doom and gloom. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here recording this thing with you,
Right.
nor with Kathy. And there's some sort of middle way. There's some sort of balance. There's some sort of uh, abundance of caution, and still just living your life that you have to do. And the biggest part of that is talking with your doctor. And if you don't like what your doctor has to say, find another doctor. Honestly. And I don't think a lot of folk just have either they don't have the opportunity to champion for themselves because they live in an area where this is the only neurologist I got, um, or they're just like, this is not my place to do this sort of a thing. But as you, as well as anyone knows, that your main, not shot, but your best chance of doing well with MS is being your own advocate. And so that means also being your own advocate and figuring out more information with the coronavirus and how your particular situation message message mess meshes.
Got
uh,
that?
yeah, thank you, I needed to.
Yeah.
Meshes with the situation, and whether or not you need to mitigate some of that fear that you have, and whether or not it's just or founded.
Well, look, MS is always about getting the best information possible. creating a medical team that you're comfortable with who listens to you
mm,
and you feel that you can rely on. And then you synthesize all the information you get and you make your own best decision. And that's what MS is.
mm,
You can be told that the DMT you're on, you're not as at high risk, but you're not comfortable going out. And that's okay. I
mm,
think what we have to know, what I try to tell people is you have to know that you're enough, you're good as you are. Go easy on yourself
mm,
and find balance. But also, if you can get the perspective that this thing is going to be here for a little while and pivot a little and find balance
mm,
and calm and joy, the
mm,
little joys, a
mm,
sunrise, a flower outside, a beautiful piece of music, all of that just can bring you a sense of inner calm that is so needed right now. If you can combine trust your own instincts with finding those little snippets of joy every day, doing some gentle yoga, meditating, journaling, all of that. I think it's very important that is part of your self-care plan,
mm,
which I think that we all need to do for ourselves. And that also is a big stress reliever.
mm,
And as well as anybody, because I know you meditate and do your qigong and all that, it's important to find your happiness. Or take up a hobby. Start painting, learn a language, start to crochet, watch an old movie, read a book,
mm,
you
mm.
know?
Yeah,
Those are all great ways.
the face of MS changes over time. So that means that the face of MS advocacy also changes over time. And now here we are in coronavirus times. Is there anything that you as an advocate want to or make sure that you relay to your the people that you're talking to with MS?
The way that I've always done advocacy is in a positive light,
Mm,
but in an authentic way.
mm,
I don't want to sugarcoat anything, but I
mm,
want people to know that they could still live their best life no
mm,
matter what,
mm, mm,
within their abilities, whatever that may be. That said, it's very difficult or has been made difficult in the age of coronavirus. So, what I want to say is trust, trust to know that there's good information out there, that there's people you can rely on who are trusted, such as advocates like you and
mm,
me, and so
mm,
many other patient leaders within the community,
mm,
and to trust the MS organizations because there's a lot of great information going on, even more so than now than ever. They're
mm.
providing a wealth of information, including MS views and news. Absolutely. Yes. And I would just say to use that, to lean on the community to become their best self or better self,
Mm.
because you really make your own best self.
Look,
Just focus on self-care is the biggest thing you could do.
and I would add to that because that's those are fantastic points. I put on top of maybe try something that you didn't think you would be into. You didn't think that you would like as a way forward, like a form of exercise or a form of just whatever. And on top of that, to if it's not a fit for you, then try another thing in that category. If you're like, oh, I need to exercise more, but I tried yoga for a week, but I don't like it no more, then make sure you try something else. Don't just stop trying to exercise.
That's right. You
You know,
never know what's gonna hit. You never know what's gonna fly, and you could try something that you never thought that you'd be interested in, and, "Oh my god, this really works for me, and look how much better I feel, and look how much, more calm I feel," and it will help get you through those darker days, and we all have them, to just feel a little lighter and a little more self-confident in ourselves, despite whatever because, MS, we wanna say, "Hey, MS, you are not gonna win. You
you
are
are
not gonna win."
you are not gonna win. I
That's
have
it.
good medical professionals. I have a great community. And most importantly, I believe in myself to not only say, you're not going to win, I'm going to say instead, I am going to win.
That's right. Always use the positive.
That's it.
Always.
That's it. And it's a lot of sometimes people can be like, oh, fine, that's Pollyanna, or oh, that doesn't work for me, or it's like, bro, you just need to keep trying, man.
You know what? It is Pollyanna, and you know what? It works.
That's it.
So, I
That's it.
trust in the universe, and I believe that there's some kind of utopia there within
Yeah.
all of this nonsense that we are living through, and
Look,
that I keep hope in my heart, and that I will never let go of, and nobody should. Nobody should. There's
look,
always hope.
Kathy Chester, where can people find you on the interwebs? Where can they find your gloriousness in the internet of things?
Well, my blog is an empoweredspirit.com.
Hmm.
They can find me on Instagram at Cathy, Cathsie, on Twitter at Cathy Chess,
Hmm.
Ches. You know,
Hmm.
I have a name Kathy. Everybody has that, taken that first. And then my own name, Cathy Chester on Facebook, and my fan page is An Empowered Spirit. So I'm everywhere,
She's everywhere. She's out
or
here.
I try to be.
Yeah. Well, thank you for speaking to me and the MS Views and News audience about coronavirus and multiple sclerosis and how those two intersect, and still how you can work to be your best self in the middle of it. Thank you. Thank you.
It is my great pleasure, Damien. You're a gem, and I love talking about MS and helping the community however I can. Thanks so much for having me here.
And thank
Truly.
you guys for watching. So we will see you the next time on MS Views Now.